Wholeheartedly, we pay homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, to Master Sakya Dzogchen, to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and Master Dubten Dorje. Homage to the main deity of Homa, Guru Guli, Buddha Mother. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet. How do you do? And our guest of honors today is the wife of Secretary General Liao from the NCCAA, Dharma Sister Judy, and the Attorney General to Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer and her family, accountant to the Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband, and the wife of the director for the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund of the Republic of China, Dharma Sister Vivian, and Dr. Zhuang and his father.
Thank you for coming. And next Sunday, 习如顺。这个下个礼拜是6月1号。
Next Sunday, on June 1st, Sunday at 3 p.m., the main deity of the Homa at that time would be the thousand eyes, thousand arms, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And this Kuan Yin is one of the most precious of all the Kuan Yin Bodhisattvas, because she has 1,000 arms or 1,000 hands and 1,000 eyes. So she can salvage and deliver innumerable sentient beings. And she has numerous transformations. And the mantra, that's the mantra for the 1,000 eyes, 1,000 arms, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And the mudra is like this. So it looks like 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes. So it's boundless compassion and would alleviate sufferings upon calling at any time. So if you can create affinity with the 1,000 eyes and 1,000 arms Kuan Yin Bodhisattva and have fruition in her practice, then you would reach the 11th ground of Bodhisattvahood, and that would be the same as Buddhahood in the wonderful awakening. So Kuan Yin, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 arms, Kuan Yin is the same as a Buddha, and she has 11 heads. So she is in the realm of wonderful awakening. So she is both a Buddha and a Bodhisattva, because she salvaged innumerable sentient beings. So if you have fruition in this practice as your yidam, and you are assured to attain Buddhahood. if you have this deity as your yidam and you have attainment in your practice, she has 1,000 eyes that can see you anywhere, and she has 1,000 hands that can help you anytime. That's next week. If you miss this deity, it would be the same as you just fall prey onto anybody. So this 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, I also conferred the empowerment of this deity the evening we left Taiwan. I didn't form this mudra at that time. I formed the lotus mudra instead. And this mudra also the mudra for all Kuan Yins and all Bodhisattvas. But the 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes Bodhisattvas would be like this. This is her true mudra. It looks like 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes. Everyone, good afternoon. How do you do? Everyone, good afternoon. How do you do? In Mandarin Chinese, Taiwanese, Cantonese. Thank you. So we did the 10 directional arrow shooting of Gurukuli Buddha Mother, and an altar has been set up right here, and you can set up your shrine accordingly. And the 10 directional arrow shooting, what does it mean? You have chanted Gurukuli Buddha Mother's mantra before, and you had received her empowerment. But then, why is there a Dharma practice for the 10 directional arrow shooting? That means the Gurukuli Buddha Mother in the Great Perfection Dharma, that in the 10 directional arrow shooting, nothing is missed. So if you have fruition in this Dharma practice, and you have to invoke the Gurukuli Buddha Mother above, the Gurukuli Buddha Mother below, and the Gurukuli Buddha Mother in the 4 directions, and the Gurukuli Buddha Mother in all 10 directions. So altogether 10 directions, which mean nothing is being missed. So that guarantees you, practicing Gurukuli Buddha Mother, you would definitely attain fruition. That when the arrows are being shot, everyone would be shot, and everyone would love you. Someone laughs. But it would be bad if every single being loved you. But if you shoot the arrows, all the arrows, that everyone would be helpful to you. You have no more enemies and no more enmities. So Gurukuli Buddha Mother has this face, a smiling and with a little grain, angry grain. So I don't know how I express that. When you're angry, enraged, you can smile. You're smiling and angry at the same time. So there is magnetizing and subjugating at the same time. So Guru Gule Buddha Mother is not only a magnetizing deity, she's also a subjugating deity, that you can subjugate the other party to let them love you and respect you. So that's why deity smiles and wrathful at the same time. I cannot do this expression. And last time, I gave an example of the smile of Mona Lisa. You know, the painting of Da Vinci. It's just like this. The only way I describe this smiling with the grinning, like she looks very, kind of like when the wife is seeing the husband coming home late at night, that she has such a smile. That like a sinister smile. We went to the Louvre and we saw the painting of Mona Lisa, and they said that it is the real painting. And when I took a look at her face and the way she positioned her hands, it doesn't look like a kind smile. It looks like she's very insidious. So Guru Gule Buddha Mother is like that. Her face, her whole body is red. She's like smirking rather than smiling. And she looks really good. And one hand is holding a bow, the other hand is holding an arrow, and another hand is holding a hook, and then the other one holding a lasso or a noose. The hook is to hook you, the noose is to bind you, and the bow and arrow is to shoot you. So shoot all you like, just don't shoot at Grandmaster Lu.
70.
Because Grandmaster is already 70 years old. Already an old man.
Retire. 这个都是退休的老人，快要进老人院了。
So it's a retired man that's about to go to the elderly home. So reaching 80s, I would wobble when I walk, like just now. Already 70s. So life starts at 70s. Start that everything becoming disabled.
这个你们设你们心中所想。
So shoot what you wish for.
修这个法，让你爱情能够
Practicing this Dharma practice, you would have a smooth-going romantic love. You would have a nice, beautiful marriage. You would have respect and love from your boss, from your managers, or love and respect from your co-workers, or even from a bigger mass or crowd or from everyone. And that would be the most important meaning of the 10 directional arrow shooting of Guru Buddha Mother. It could be as big as being successful in a political leader like a president. So if you do this practice, you would have hope to reach the highest position, that you would be elected by the people to become a president. If you are in entertainment business, then you would have millions of fans, like the singer, like the actor in that Korean soap opera coming from the star. And wherever he goes, everyone recognizes him and loves him. So he has such a power. You would have such a power, such a magnetism. This young man doesn't look any extraordinarily. On the internet, they put Grandmaster's face, the young portrait of Grandmaster, and this young actor next to each other. And who looks better? I find I look better. When I was young, I looked quite handsome. They called him Professor Tu. His eyes are big and rather protruding, and his facial look is quite good. But his eyes are not as deep and wise as my eyes. So Grandmaster too has love and respect from all directions. And when there's too much love, someone would oppose it. Because when someone has such huge magnetism that can attract such a huge crowd, that some people would be envious and jealous of that. And it is unavoidable that you would be envied. So when you do this 10 directional practice, you would reach the highest position, say in the political arena, and if you have fruition in this Dharma practice, you would have all the beauties, the hot girls, the spicy girls, and the dragon girls, dinosaurs girls. No. Girls like to be slim, not the fat ones. The fat Asian girls would feel superior when they come to the West, because the Western people are even bigger. They are more obese. I don't know what they eat. There was a joke that said in the New Year time, well, whether we have money or not, it would be good to get married. And there's a lady next to him saying that, okay, I'll marry you. And he took a look and it turned out to be a fat girl. So he said, well, I don't want to celebrate New Year this year then. So if you do this Dharma practice, you would gain lots of love and respect from people, and enemies would disappear. So harmony would occur simultaneously, spontaneously. So they are both magnetizing and subjugation. This Dharma practice is very good. So actually, this is the smoke offering of Gurukula Buddha Mother. So the incense smoke would rise. At the center, there would be the smoke offering incense burner. So you write the name of your lover and you place it inside the incense burner together with the incense powder, or you use the pistils of the red lotus blossoms, 108 of them, and burn them together with the incense powder. So that person would spontaneously love you. So Grandmaster has done the practice of Gurukula Buddha Mother, but has not done the 10 directional arrow shooting Dharma practice of Gurukula Buddha Mother, because I did not want to be in politics. It's already good enough right now, because now I'm 70 years old. If I just shoot my arrows all again, it would be more trouble. It's troublesome enough already, because there are too many bondages. I have lots of knots already inside my heart. If there are more, I have no more time for it. So you can do this practice, but Grandmaster cannot. And it is best that you don't put my name and my birth date and time inside the incense burner. Because if you do, then my heart would beat very fast when I see you. Then that would not be nice. So the way you place the incense burner is round inside and square outside. So the square ones you place inside. So there is a mantra. At the center, there is the Mount Sumeru, the place for the incense burner. And in the 4 directions is the statues of Gurukula Buddha Mother, and 7 oceans represented by 7 glasses of water, and the 4 huge continents represented by the cross arrows of Gurukula Buddha Mother, and the 8 small continents represented by 8 small red candles, and then the peach blossom arrows, small arrows. So placed inside the 7 oceans and 8 continents. And inside the incense burner, you place the incense for the smoke offering plus the powder of the peach blossoms. I have taught about this before. So the incense is the same as smoke offering, but you need to add 108 peach blossoms ground into powder and add it into the incense powder. So when you burn the incense powder, the smoke would flow everywhere, going up, down, and to all directions. And then you place the offerings on the 4 sides of the altar. That's the key points in setting up the altar. So Guru Gule Buddha Mother not only create love and respect inside the family or in societies and organizations, and you can generate love and respect among the big mass. So Guru Gule Buddha Mother has great power in magnetizing and subjugating. In Guru Gule Dharma practice, is the 3 longevity deities include Guru Gule? No. Sorry. She is the Buddha Mother with magic spells. White Tara, Ushina Vijaya, and Amitayus Buddha are the 3 deities of longevity. And Guru Gule Buddha Mother does not focus on longevity, but I think she does because she comes from Amitabha Buddha. And she is red. Today, everyone, lots of people are wearing red, Grandmaster too, wearing the red crown. So Guru Gule Buddha Mother is red. The 6th syllable is 3, the mantra. The mantra, Om Guru Gule 3 Soha. And the meaning of 3 is, it signifies that she comes from Amitabha Buddha. That's the mark of Amitabha Buddha. So she came from Amitabha Buddha. And the mudra, 2 ring fingers, inward and hook on each other. The ring fingers, the tip of the ring fingers hooking on each other, and then you place the rest of the fingers together. That's the mudra. And then the look and the appearance. So there is that Dharma practice, and it is especially important to invoke Guru Gule Buddha Mother of the 10 directions. And you say, we are invoking Guru Gule Buddha Mother above, Guru Gule Buddha Mother below, and Guru Gule Buddha Mother of the 8 directions, altogether 10 directions. And then you start the Guru Gule Buddha Mother practice, and then you burn the incense for the smoke offering. And it is really important for the incense powder that it includes 108 blossoms of peach blossoms. So, do we have peach blossoming in Seattle now? It's past. It blossoms in March. It's past. Do we still have peach blossoms in May?
So
the most important part is the powder of the peach blossoms, 108 of them. It's very easy to do. They sell it in Taiwan. If you need it, you can buy the powder of the peach blossoms. So you dry them and grind them. That's the key point. And also, or 108 pistils of a red lotus blossoms. And also, for the Guru Gule Buddha Mother Homa fire offering, you can also place the powder of the 108 red peach blossoms, or 108 pistils of the 108 red lotus blossoms. So for the Homa fire offering today, there are more than 108 blossoms. I said 108, why is it more? How do you count the
剩下
rest?
的，那你修敬爱法的话，连老太婆你也要。
That in that case, if you do magnetizing practice, that you even want the old woman,
到时候连老
then
太婆
all
小孩通通都喜欢你。
the old woman and children all like you, all love you. That's too much. That would be troublesome.
介绍这个咕噜咕噜佛母十方射箭法，简单
So
介绍到
that's
这
the
里。
simple, the brief introduction of the 10 directional arrow shooting of Guru Guli Buddha Mother. And I have transmitted this Dharma practice before in Taiwan, and I will confer the empowerment in a moment. And here, it is the first time.
没有来的太可惜。
Oh, it's such a pity that many
他们以
people
后
do
啊
not
是
come.
没有贵人。
That in the future, they would not have anybody helping them.
会有很多的小人，
They would have
会有很
lots
多
of
的小人受这个灌顶的
enmities.
都会有贵人产生。
But if you receive this empowerment, you would have a lot of
没有受过这个
favorable
灌顶的，会有很
people.
多小人。
But if you never receive this empowerment, then you would have
这
lots
个
of
敬爱法很重要的，这个真的，而且它也有降服的力量。
enmities. So doing Guru Guli Buddha Mother is very important, especially Guru Guli Buddha Mother also have subjugating
这个
property.
大圆满里面最主要讲，众生都是佛，你只要修了。
So in the Great Perfection Dharma, it's said that all sentient beings are Buddhas. If you do spiritual cultivation, you would definitely attain Buddhahood, whether in this lifetime, next lifetime, or in the future lifetime.
众生即是佛。
That in Havajra Tantra, it was mentioned that all sentient beings are Buddhas,
若清除。
but they have obscurations and obstructions. If you eliminate the obscurations and obstructions, then sentient beings are Buddhas. So in Havajra Tantra, it was mentioned that all sentient beings are Buddha. Because you have lots of obstructions and obscurations, that's why you're just sentient beings. But if you eliminate all those obstructions and obscurations, then you would be a Buddha.
我们每一个人都有过失，都有黑色的业。
That we all have transgressions and black karma.
所有黑色的业
Like what I said earlier,
消除，
may all black karma be totally
罪业
eliminated.
全部消除，白业增长，就是
And
善
may
业
the
能够
good karma
增加，善业能够
increase.
增加。这个本性呢，我们人的本性。 本来就是功德，那过失也就是课程，也就是外面的障碍。课程
basic
就是临时
nature is the
在佛身
merit,
边上作为障碍的，就称为课程。
and the lessons are the temporary obstructions and obscurations.
你原来的佛
That
性
the original Buddha
到了
nature
最
never
后还
changed.
是不变的，还是本来就是佛性。
That it is
佛性就是佛性，
never
它
changed.
不会变。
That Buddha nature is
它
Buddha
永远是
nature.
不变的，
It
就是
could
佛性。
never change. It
那其
never
他的都会改
changes.
变了，像
Everything
过失
else can
会增
change.
加。
Your transgressions
那么它
can
也会消除。
increase or
所以
decrease.
我刚刚这个念的时候是说，
So that's why I recited
让所有的
earlier
黑色的业
that
消
may
除
all black karma
让
be
所有白色的业
eliminated
增
and
长
may all good karma
这
increase.
是一个很重要的啊。
So this is very important.
这个大圆满法哦，是很稀有的法。
The great perfection Dharma is a very rare, rarely found, and it is the assembly of all many Dharma practices, and the great perfection Dharma is truly supreme. So what I meant is, Grandmaster had mentioned Grandmaster's lineages in Ningma-pa came from the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, and he followed Master Nona from Xikang in China. He studied from Master Nona, and he studied Great Perfection Dharma. So he conferred the empowerment of Great Perfection Dharma upon me. And in my past life, I was the king of Tibet. At the time of Guru Padmasambhava, when he was about to leave Tibet, after spending 50 years in Tibet, he hid the hidden treasures, the Dharma, inside the brain of the king Trisong Dzogchen. That's why I had it hidden in my brain. And third, Guru Padmasambhava transmitted the Dharma to King Trisong Dzogchen and Yishi Jokal, which is his consort. So Padmasambhava transmitted to two most important people, the king Trisong Dzogchen. So Grandmaster has two lineages, the one direct lineage, and then the hidden or Dharma lineage, and then the human lineage. And because Grandmaster has these three lineages, Grandmaster now dares to transmit this Dharma practice, this Dharma. There are a lot of secrets inside it. There are people teaching this, but only rarely found. So the lineage comes from true lineage from Guru Padmasambhava. I remember when I wrote the book, Guru Padmasambhava transmitted to me Tantric Dharma practices. In this life, he took me to a cave inside a burial place in Nepal, and I received two empowerments there. One time, he ate me up and generated me from his secret chakra. It's the same as eliminating all of my obscuration and obstructions. And the second time, Guru Padmasambhava, his whole body emitted light, and it was really bright and brilliant, and all the light entered to me through my skin pores. So that's also my lineage. I would like to ask someone, are you sleeping? Lily, Reverend Lily, are you sleeping? Are you closing your eyes? You're nodding your head because you have jet lag, so you're sleeping. Now, then you have no transgressions, but in the future, if you're sleeping here, then you are transgressing, because I saw you always like this from beginning to end. It's very interesting. When I said I want to ask someone and a Bodhisattva notified you, immediately you lift up your head. So you should eat more ice cream when you get home, because ice creams make you happy. Sweets excite you. So if you give candies to children, they would become more active and excited.
你也应该要吃一点。
So you should eat
吃
some
一点这个巧克力啊
chocolate,
吃一点这个 ice
cream,
然后吃一点这个3甜。什么叫3甜呢
？3 sweets.
白糖、冰糖，叫做3甜。
brown sugar, white sugar, and rock sugar.
现在这个姿势就是
So
看到
this is the posture that I've been seeing you sitting there.
要听法的时候啊，如果老师
When you're listening to a Buddha Dharma,
我们以前
like in a class, when the teacher see a student like that, the teacher would throw a chalk at you. Have you been thrown a chalk? Because you're sleeping in class. Then the chalk would be thrown at you. Some people are like this. And the mouth is open and the chalk would get into the mouth. So the 10-directional arrow shooting by the teacher is very accurate. That's very important.
我在学这个法的时候啊，写这本书的时候有很大的因缘，《密教大圆满》里面写到的。这个在入三昧地的时候啊，看自己的身体。So this is very important. When you enter into samadhi, 这是经常有的。
You would find your own body to become really huge. That's often happens. Because in samadhi, your body can fill the whole universe. And your body can fill the whole space. And your own left hand would hold the sun, and the right hand is holding the moon. And both the sun and the moon disk radiating brilliance to fill the whole universe. Then it would become the realm of the great radiance. And the last empowerment in the Great Perfection Dharma is called the empowerment of the great radiance. The left hand is holding the sun and the other hand holding the moon. And this great radiance would shine upon the whole universe. And that's a very auspicious sign. In my samadhi that had happened. So samadhi is now asleep. Your mind is clear. So it's between sleep and wakefulness that would be called samadhi. If you have fallen asleep, then that is not samadhi. And prior to falling asleep, that's awake, being awake. So you could say that samadhi is being between wakefulness and sleep. So at that time, you could be as huge as infinite or as small as a grain of sand, or even smaller than that. So you could become huge or tiny, and this often happens in samadhi. Or sometimes you can transform yourself to become empty. So the last empowerment in Great Perfection Dharma would be the empowerment of the great radiance, or the great clear light radiance. This is talking about matchmaking. This may not be a good joke, but it's okay. During the matchmaking date, the man asked the woman, "What kind of man do you like?" And the woman is very elegant. I'm a very this is a very common phrase that's often used in Chinese now. The very common woman just looking for a very common man. And the man said, Sorry.
我有2个蛋蛋。
Maybe we would not match because I have 2 balls. It's just a play of words of Chinese. This phrase now is commonly used in Chinese. Very settled. If someone is settled, that means someone is groomed. They would not be anxious. It's not so good to be too anxious or too hurried. Some people is really anxious, as anxious as this. That's when you're very overactive.
这种急起来这个样子，急到好像快要升天了，又好像要钻入地狱。
So sometimes they're so anxious that they want, as if they would jump to heaven or fall to hell. So these days there are a lot of anxious people like this, and even when they eat, when they walk or whatever, because when we have dinner, you know, every time I ask, everybody has finished eating and only I am the one that's left. Why did you eat so fast? I'm very calm. Do we have enough food for lunch today? So there's enough food. There's no need for you to grab and rush. So Grandmaster is very calm. And doesn't matter what you do, there's no need to rush or to get very anxious. So after you cultivate yourself, sometimes you become calmer. It's the same in spiritual cultivation. If you rush, and then you will not catch the essence. So everything that I do for Grandmaster, everything would be imprinted in my brain, in my mind. So that way you would feel that you have attained something. Say if you recite the 2 Buddha Sutra, you recite it one word at a time and imprint it in your mind. When you recite Hiking Sutra or Incanting Buddha Amitabha, you place it in your heart one by one. And if you do it that way, then it is very natural and it is very earnest. It's not rushed. 观世音菩萨，南无佛，南无法，南无僧，佛告有缘佛，上应常无法，真有缘佛。那么摩诃巴切波罗蜜是大神咒、大明咒、无上咒、无顶顶咒。那么净光秘密佛、法藏佛、狮子口、神咒有用佛、不告须弥天王佛、法护佛、金刚造狮子有义佛、无相佛、神通佛、有数琉璃光王佛、破光功德三王佛、三足功德波王佛、贵己智佛，别来你看看，你这样子念。If you recite like that, 全部像那个。 留声啊，这样放唱片一样，这样给它放过去。It's just like playing a record player. You don't put your heart in it. So you need to be truly mindful and imprint it on your heart. If you recite 1,000 times like that, if you rush and you finish it in 1 minute, it's as if it's like it comes and goes. And what use is there? It's as if you're playing the tape. You don't place your heart on it. But in your spiritual cultivation, you need to place your hearts on it. Then only that way there would be would be calm, settled, and fervent and earnest. So the last empowerment of the great perfection Dharma is also the greatest empowerment, which is the empowerment for the great clear light radiance, as I have said in Taiwan before. A woman was on a public bus, and when she got off the bus, she thought, oh no, she forgot her keys on the bus. And the bus has took off, and it started to move. It's a play of words in Chinese. My keys are on the bus, but it sounds like I want to die on the bus. The dual meaning of a Chinese word. And the bus driver replied, "What? You want to die on my bus?" And then and he accelerated. So that's a misunderstanding. So don't misunderstand the great perfection Dharma, because after teaching for this period of time, maybe you feel befuddled. Your teachings for so much. So how do we start? How do we practice it? So that's the problem. Actually, there is steps also in Great Perfection Dharma. There are gradual stages in the Great Perfection Dharma. As I said before, you need to start from the Vajra chanting, the treasure vase energy yoga, to open the central channels, and then you do inner fire practice, first non-leaking practice, and an inner fire or two more practice, and lastly the light drops or bindu practice. And then after that, you start the practice of seeing the lights. So you shouldn't be befuddled about it. Otherwise, it would be like that woman that said, "I want to die on the bus," instead of saying, "My keys are on the bus." So Grandmaster has to explain the Great Perfection Dharma clearly, and all the stages, how to practice enlightenment or chiche, and how to practice talk, which is seeing the light. So chiche is the sudden cutting, to cut all the thoughts, and talk is leaping over. So you have to practice chiche first and then practice talk, which is seeing the light. This is also a joke. Recently, I want to clean the house. I get the broom and the cleaners and vacuum to start to clean the house. And all of a sudden, I thought of the phrase, the verse that was written by the sixth patriarch, that there are no things originally. How could the dust alight? So that's why instead I put them down and went to sleep. So Buddha Dharma is like this. So there's sudden teachings and also gradual teachings. So if you can gain enlightenment in this lifetime, that means you have cultivated spirituals in your past lives. That's why in this lifetime you have reached that state. So you start with the gradual stages, and then you reach the sudden stage.
也就是说，最终的一个彻切，最终的一个彻切的法。
So the phrase of Hui Neng,
那么我们
that originally there was no things, how could the dust alight on?
你先从理上
So
去想
that's Dzogchen.
什么是开悟啊？世尊讲很多了，
But for us, we should start gradually.
讲六祖坛经，
Grandmaster has taught on the Platform Sutra, and on Zen koans. I have written over 10 books on them. And I want to provide it guidance so that each one of you can gain enlightenment, can reach that sudden teaching. But that enlightenment also came from a lot of gradual cultivation before. But this joke came to the sudden teaching without the gradual teaching. So Miss Erica, I have shared lots of jokes about you. There's one more. You wake up in the morning. Do you make your bed? Do you? No. She's very honest. So that's why she's very kind-hearted. If you're not kind-hearted, you would lie to Grandmaster. Yes, I made my bed. But she's very honest, and she said no. And that's how Erica is. She stayed at the Rainbow Temple, Rainbow Villa for a period of time. And you also live at my house for a period of time. When you got up in the morning, you kick off the blanket and you woke up. And someone saw that and asked you, how come you don't make your bed, folded your blanket, and tidy up the bed, and so that the bed looks very tidy and you return to bed at night. But Miss Erica said, because we need to sleep on it again in the morning, why do we have to tidy it? It is troublesome. But if you have a guest or someone enters your room and your room is really untidy and the blanket is half on the ground and the pillows are all over, and there are newspapers and books on the bed, and things under the bed, your clothes, and you just place it on the bed or on the ground. In your bedroom, Miss Erica, I'd like to ask you, is your room very clean and tidy? No, she's very honest. I knew that your bedroom is always like the garbage dump. So it's like you're performing the directional arrow shooting. You enter into your room, you take off your clothes and you throw it here and here and here, right? Right? I don't dare to marry such a wife. I love cleanliness. I like
地毯
clean.
上有一张白纸，我绝对捡
If
起。
there's a shred of paper on the floor, I would pick
不
it
用
up.
走过去了，看到了我就捡起来。
I would definitely pick it up right as soon as I see it.
我回去衣服挂的一定同一个地方，东西
I
摆的
always
就是
hang
同
my
一个地方
clothes on the same
那个表
place,
摆的绝对是同
and
一
I
个
would
地方。
place my watch and my
包括你两
things
个
on
戒
the
指
same
摆的绝对是
place.
同一个地方，绝
My
对不会丢掉。
rings, I
因为
would never
只要
lose
往那
them
边走，你就可以拿到。
because whenever you go there, you would find
戒
them.
指摆在一起，同一个地方。
I
手表
always
摆
place
同
my
一个地方
rings and
每
my
一件衣
watch
服
on the
帽子
same
摆同一个
place.
地方
My
绝对不会
clothes,
乱
my hat.
我就是井井有条的，井井有条的
It's
这样
always
子做。
very tidy and systematic.
修行也是一样，
The same
每
is
天
spiritual
生活程
cultivation.
序都是一样。
And my daily
像军人一
routine
样。
is always the
我
same,
们阿
like
兵
a
哥啊
military
上阿兵哥
man.
的时候啊，都要做
When
内
we
务
were in the military,
内务，把棉被折好，像一块豆腐一样的整整齐
we
齐，
have to fold the blankets to be like
一点都不差错，把所有东西全部放入
like
内务
a
柜，内
like a
务柜一
box
层一层的下
that
来，
it is very sharp,
最后还
and
放脸盆、牙刷、牙膏。
and then one on top of each
脸盆、牙刷、
other,
牙膏
and there's a
毛巾
basin
通通都摆得很整
and
齐，放在内
a
务柜里
cup
面。
and toothbrush and
以前
toothpaste
学习
and
就是这样子
towels.
学习的，
They
经过
all
律
has
法
to
的
be
学
placed
习也
inside
是
the
一样。你要
So
有
that's
条
how we
有
trained
理
before, and now
庄
in
严激进
tantric practices is the same
把
thing.
所
We
有
have
的
to be
灰尘全
very
部擦掉，这样子的
systematic
修行
and
才
very
是真的
clean
修
and
行生活
tidy
不能散乱。
and to dust all the dust. So that's how we should practice. And we have to be in full concentrations, otherwise we would make
大圆满
mistakes.
法是有次
So
第
the
的
same thing in our spiritual cultivations, there are steps and levels, the same in Great Perfection Dharma.
所以不能有差错啊。
So you should not
这个
make
飞
any
机在飞啊
mistakes.
那个是
When the
跳伞
plane
训练。
flies, that's for the
就是
parachute
教
jumping
官叫新
training.
兵跳伞，没有一个人敢跳的。
So
教练的脸色
teaching the
很难
new
看。
soldiers to jump, and the instructor
这个时候他看到有一个
getting
在偷笑
upset,
他就
and
教
he
练
saw
就一
someone
脚就把他
smiling,
踹下去，
and the
踹下去。
instructor kicked him off the
就是
plane
让他跳伞。
to
这
let
个
him
时候
jump
啊，
off
每一
with
个
the
人都跟着
parachute.
像饺子一样接二连三的跳下去。
And at that time,
教练就非
the
常
rest of the
奇
people
怪，
followed
你
one
们不是
after
不敢
another.
跳吗？怎么现在
And the
每一个人都敢
instructor was
跳？
surprised. How come now everyone jumps?
另外，他就抓住最后一个问：刚才
And so
你们
he
跳，为
caught
什么我
the
踹
last
出去
one.
你们都跳啊？
Why didn't you jump when I asked you to jump before? But when I kicked
你也
one
赶
of
快
them,
跳吧，因为你踹出去
You all-
的是飞机的驾驶员。
and he said, "But instructor, you should jump too, because the one that you kicked off the plane was the pilot."
这个忙中有错，把飞机的驾驶员给他踹出去。
So he kicked off the pilot of the plane.
所以一定像跳伞，我们是挂着钩的。以前学习跳伞，
So for the parachute jumping,
每一个人挂有一个钩子，
There
挂在
is like
线
a
上
hook
一个一个跳的，
and there's a
很
line,
整齐的。
and that you have to follow one after another in order. It has to be orderly.
有一个晚上啊，老婆听到老公在哭，
One night, the wife heard the husband crying, and then woke him up. What happened? And the husband said, "Oh, I dreamt that I'm married."
挺好的。
And the wife
你不是
said, "Isn't that a
早
good
想
thing?
再找一个结
Didn't
婚，
want to marry
哭什么应
again.
该高兴啊。
Why did you cry? You should be happy." But the husband replied,
一掀开你的头开，
"You know,
原来还是你。
during the wedding night, I lift off the wedding veil, and it turned out to be you."
今天没有来。
Sumu is not here
阿弥
today,
陀佛。
so I cannot say anything. Amitabha, because I know that words would go to her ears. Then I would be dead.
凡事不能乱啊，凡事不能乱，一定要
So worldly things have to be in order. That in spiritual cultivation you have to follow the steps, and all have to be orderly, and you have to be very clear about the steps and the levels of Mani Padme Hum. That's very important.